what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be giving a review for the film Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now this is the fourth film in the overall Ghostbusters franchise, but this is actually like the direct sequel to the 1989 Ghostbusters 2, because that previous Ghostbusters film, it was kind of like a reboot and it was like different, you know, it didn't feature like the characters or so on from these Ghostbuster films that we do. Like no, now this is directed by Jason Reitman. And then you have like the characters of the actors and actresses of like Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, and Paul Rudd. They are like the main stars of the film. Now in the film, it's about like this woman. I don't want to get into it too much because it kind of spoils, but everybody knows like the plot of it. This woman and her like two kids, they moved to this like secluded house. There was like where they inherited this secluded house, like the woman's like father, who has recently like passed away, and she already kind of has like a grudge against him because he was like never there and so on and stuff like that. But it turns out once they get to this house, but she already knew who he was, you know, but once they get there, it turns out that it was actually an Egon, like Harold Ramis character from the Ghostbuster films, and this is spoiler territory too. Yeah, he had like passed away or whatever, so he had left the house behind to like his daughter, and I guess you could see like his grandkids. So once they get there, they start to learn that it's like ghosts is showing up and all that. Being that this is the Ghostbusters like world, there's like nothing like, you know, special out the way about it. They know that ghosts do exist, you know. And the film does take place like, I think it's 32 years after the events of Ghostbusters 2, if I'm not mistaken, but 37 years after the first film in general. So, you know, you have Paul Rudd, who shows up too as like a school teacher, and he meets like the woman who is known as because the characters in the film are known as Carrie Coon, who is played by Callie Spengler, and she's actually like the daughter of Egon, so she's actually like the mother who actually moves her kids with her family to this like secluded house. Then you have Finn Wolfhard as Trevor Spengler, and she's like his son. And then you also have McKenna Grace as Phoebe Spengler, who is Callie's daughter, and she's the one who actually picks up like she mostly is the one that uses like the proton pack and like the equipment to actually trap and capture like the ghosts and so on. You have Paul Rudd, who plays Gary Gruberson, and he's like a high school science teacher who becomes like interested, or has like a love interest in Callie Spengler. So they begin like a love interest, and he learns about like the Ghostbusters and all that, like the past and all that. Then you get to see like glimpses. Not there. This is spoiler territory. They're not in the film too much, but you do get to see like Peter Venkman and Ray Stantz and then Winston Zeddemore. You get to see them in the film. They do make appearances because it's actually Dan Aykroyd's like character Ray Stantz who actually explains what had happened before like Egon, why they had separated and so on. So you actually get to see that they had separated from each other. And I think they had one, well, they was really close to each other, but something had caused them like to split apart. I don't want to go into it because they're kind of spoiled about it. Leave it at that. But they do all really kind of show towards the end. They help them fight like the ghosts, like the threat and all that. I don't want to get into all that. Then the character like Gozar and all of them kind of return too. They had to take her on, or him on again too, and so on. And like the doll things and all that too. Now it was entertaining, but I feel like it was like a slow paced type film. It like drags a lot, but it was still just like okay, like great, especially when, like visually, like when they're fighting like the ghosts or like hunting them down and chasing them. It could be kind of like spectacular, like fun, like action scenes, and there are some kind of like scary moments in the film too that like kind of like scary, kind of make you jump, like the way like the ghosts are in the film. So I thought some of that was kind of like well played. But I think it does put like a lot of good homage to like the previous Ghostbusters films, where the first two Ghostbusters films, like in general, you know, it's like a strong connection to them. So I think that's kind of cool seeing that, you know. But in Ghostbusters Afterlife, they are definitely leaving this open for sequels, because there are like a bunch of like Easter eggs, like there's like stuff after the end credits. Even actually, if you stay and watch the entire like credit scroll, like the whole thing, there's something at the end of that. But it's actually even something like before that too as well. I'm not going to get into all that, but you can tell they're definitely leaving open for like another one. So I'm giving Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm giving this a C. I thought it was okay. It was like decent. It could have been better for my opinion. And I felt like there was like kind of like dragging too much. Like the pace was just too slow. But it was still a pretty decent, like great film, you know. So I'm just gonna give this a C. And I would definitely recommend it for like fans of like the Ghostbuster films, especially like the first two. I've seen all the Ghostbuster films, you know. But I'm giving this just a C. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.